Athens, jewel of the Aegean. Surrounded by shimmering seas and sheltered by the protective embrace of mountains, Athens thrived in a landscape that blended natural beauty with a strategic advantage. Athens was located in the region of Attica and had access to the Aegean Sea from the port of Piraeus. Its proximity to the Aegean Sea opened pathways to trade and cultural exchange. Sparta, bastion amidst mountains. In stark contrast lies Sparta, nestled amidst the rugged terrain of the Peloponnese Peninsula, like a fortress carved from the very mountains that surround it, on the northeast and west, with no good harbors.
Did you know that Athens in the 5th century is regarded as one of the earliest examples of democracy in history? The Athenian democratic system had two main governing bodies: Citizens' Assembly or Ecclesia, and the Council of 500. Ecclesia was responsible for decreting foreign policies, revising laws, and electing public affairs. It occurs approximately 40 times a year, and it was open to all adult male citizens of Athens who were over the age of 18. On the other hand, the Council of 500 served as the exclusive body responsible for the day-to-day administration of the state and enforced the decisions and decrees passed by the assembly. It was composed of 500 members, who were Athenian citizens aged 30 or older, whose members were chosen annually by lot. Athenian democracy was not universal. It excluded women, slaves, and foreigners from participating in the political process. Only adult males, Athenian citizens, were considered full participants, and unlike modern representative democracy, Athenian democracy was direct. Every qualified citizen had the right to speak, propose laws, and vote directly on issues. The Spartan government in ancient Greece was structured as an oligarchy ruled by two kings who held military and religious authority. They had a Spartan council of elders, who was composed of 28 elders who were at least 60 years old. This council, along with the two kings, served as the highest court for criminal cases and influenced decision-making on important matters of the state. It also had the Spartan Assembly, known as the Apella, which was composed of all Spartan citizens over the age of 30, and it had authority to elect officials and vote on important matters proposed by the Council of Elders. They had the Ephorate, who was a group of 5 elected officials who held considerable power within the Spartan government. They controlled the educational system and the distribution of property.
Athens, the mercantile marvel. In Athens, commerce and trade were the lifeblood of the city-state's economy. Athens leveraged its strategic location to become a bustling hub of maritime trade. The Athenians were skilled sailors and traders, venturing across the Mediterranean to exchange goods such as olive oil, wine, and pottery. The city's bustling marketplace, the Agora, was not only a center of trade, but also a vibrant social and political gathering place, where merchants, craftsmen, and citizens engaged in lively commerce and debate. Sparta, the agrarian fortress. In stark contrast, Sparta's economy revolved around agriculture and militarism. Sparta was known for its expansive farmlands worked by the Helots. This agrarian economy enabled Spartan citizens to focus exclusively on military training and service. Wealth in Sparta was measured not by coins or trade goods, but by the quality of its soldiers and the stability of its agricultural production. Spartan society discouraged trade and luxury, viewing them as distraction from the rigorous discipline and communal ethos essential for maintaining military supremacy.
In ancient Athens, there were three main groups of people. These were the citizens, the metics, and the slaves. Citizens were men born in Athens to Athenian parents and had full rights. Metics were free non-citizens, often traders or artisans, who lived in Athens and paid taxes but didn't have the same rights as citizens. And then there were the slaves, who were owned by others and did various kinds of work without any personal freedom. Isn't it fascinating how diverse ancient Athenian society was? At the top of the social hierarchy in Sparta were the Spartiates, the full citizens. They were elite warriors dedicated to war and politics. Just below the Spartiates were the Perikoi. They were not full citizens, but they were free. The Perikoi were responsible for trade and craftsmanship, and they lived in villages around Sparta. At the bottom of the social pyramid were the Helots. They were serfs who worked the land for the Spartiates. The Helots were crucial to Sparta's economy, but they were also oppressed and closely watched to prevent rebellions. Thus, the social classes in Sparta were clearly defined, and each group had specific roles in society. This structure helped Sparta maintain its military power, but it also created internal tensions.
Athens, the cradle of wisdom and art. In Athens, education wasn't just about sharpening young minds. It was about sculpting future citizens who could engage in democracy, debate philosophy, and pen lyrical odes that echoed through the agora. From the age of 7, Athenian boys embarked on a journey of learning that included reading Homer's epic tales, mastering the lyre's melody, and sweating it out on the gymnasium to keep both mind and body in top form. Private tutors imparted wisdom at home, while schools like Plato's Academy became hotbeds of intellectual ferment, shaping the likes of Socrates and Aristotle. Athenian education wasn't just about knowledge, it was about nurturing thinkers who would shape the very essence of Western thought. Sparta, forging warriors from birth. Meanwhile, in the rugged hills of Sparta, education took on a Spartan intensity. From the moment they could walk, Spartan boys were molded into fierce warriors, trained to endure hardship, obey orders without question, and wield a spear with deadly precision. Forget poetry and philosophy. Spartan education was a hardcore boot camp where toughness was currency and loyalty to the state was the highest virtue. Even Spartan girls weren't spared the rigors. They too trained vigorously to ensure robust offspring and manage household efficiently.
Did you know that women's roles in ancient Athens were quite distinct? Athenian women mainly stayed at home, managing the household and raising children. They had limited rights and couldn't participate in politics. However, there was another group of women called hetera. Hetera were unique because they were educated and often engaged in intellectual conversations with men. Unlike other women, they had more freedom and could even own property. Their roles were very different from typical Athenian women, giving them a significant influence in social and cultural life, despite not fitting into traditional roles. Diversity in women's roles in ancient Athens is truly fascinating. Unlike in many other Greek city-states, Spartan women had a unique position in society. Spartan women were known for their strength and independence. They received physical training similar to that of men, which prepared them for motherhood and managing the household. Unlike women in Athens, Spartan women could own and inherit property. They had significant economic power and were respected for their roles in society. Spartan women were also involved in public life. They could participate in festivals, religious ceremonies, and had a say in the upbringing of their children, especially the future warriors of Sparta. This freedom and respect were partly because Spartan men spent most of their time training or at war, so women needed to manage domestic affairs and states. The role of women in Sparta was vital for maintaining the strength and stability of the state.
Athenian citizens were in fact pretty simple. They valued a balanced life that included political engagement, social interaction, and cultural pursuits. On the other hand, Spartans were renowned throughout ancient Greece for their dedication to military prowess and the discipline of their citizen soldiers. All aspects of their lives were the result of their martial enterprises and the pursuit of military efficiency and the supremacy of the citizen class.